What to do in case of an accident, a guide to road safety. Accidents are one of those things no one ever expects, but can happen to anyone at any time and in any place. One moment you're driving along smoothly, and the next everything can change in an instant. When accidents happen, they can be stressful, scary, and disorienting, which is why it's so important to be prepared. Knowing what to do in those first few moments can make a world of difference, not only for your safety, but for everyone involved. In today's video, we're going to take a deep dive into what to do in case of an accident. We'll walk you through every step, from before, during, and after a car accident, so that you're ready to handle the situation calmly and effectively. Let's get started. Before the accident, being prepared. No one likes to think about being in an accident, but the truth is that preparation starts long before anything happens on the road. Being proactive can save you a lot of stress if something does go wrong. So, what steps can you take to be ready? First, it's essential to keep all your documentation in order. Make sure you have your driver's license, vehicle registration, and insurance information up to date and easily accessible. These documents should always be in your car. In the event of an accident, you don't want to be scrambling through your glove compartment, looking for that one missing piece of paper. Having valid insurance is crucial. It's not just the law in most places, it's your safety net in case something goes wrong. Make sure your policy is current and you understand what it covers. Do you know your coverage limits for property damage, medical costs, or even legal defense if needed? Being clear on these details beforehand helps avoid confusion when you're under stress. Next, let's talk about your car itself. Regular maintenance can be the difference between getting home safely and finding yourself in a dangerous situation. Check your tires regularly, make sure your brakes are working properly, and always ensure your lights and signals are functioning. These may seem like small things, but they're vital for your safety on the road. Also, don't underestimate the importance of having an emergency kit in your car. This should include items like a first aid kit, a flashlight, reflective triangles, a fire extinguisher, and basic tools like a tire jack and wrench. These items can be lifesavers if you're in an accident or your car breaks down in a dangerous location. Finally, always wear your seatbelt. It's such a simple thing, but it can save your life. Studies have shown that seatbelts reduce the risk of serious injury by 45% in accidents. Not only should you be buckled in, but make sure your passengers are too, especially kids, who should be in proper car seats or booster seats. So before you even hit the road, make sure you're fully prepared. It's not just about avoiding tickets or being a responsible driver, it's about protecting yourself and those around you. During the accident, staying calm and taking control. Now let's fast forward to the moment you never want to face. You've been in an accident. Maybe it's just a minor fender bender, or perhaps it's something more serious. Regardless, the steps you take immediately following the crash are critical. The first thing you need to do is stay calm. That's easier said than done, but panic only makes things worse. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you're in control of what happens next. Now, assess the situation. Are you injured? Is anyone else in the car hurt? If you or anyone else is injured, the first step is to call emergency services right away. Even if the injuries seem minor, it's important to let professionals assess the situation. You might not realize the extent of an injury in the heat of the moment. If the accident is minor and no one is severely injured, the next thing to do is to move to safety. If your car is still drivable, move it to the side of the road or out of the flow of traffic. This helps prevent further accidents. If your car isn't drivable, turn on your hazard lights and stay inside the vehicle until help arrives, especially if you're on a busy road or highway. Getting out of the car in heavy traffic can be extremely dangerous, so it's often safer to stay put. If you have an emergency kit with you, use reflective triangles or road flares to warn other drivers. This is especially important at night or in bad weather when visibility is poor. Now comes a critical step: exchanging information. Once you've ensured everyone is okay, you'll need to get the other driver's details. This includes their name, phone number, insurance information, and license plate number. But here's something important to remember. Do not admit fault or apologize at the scene. Even if you think you might be to blame, it's best to let the insurance companies and law enforcement sort that out. Apologizing can sometimes be interpreted as an admission of guilt, which can complicate things later. Also, if there are any witnesses around, ask them for their contact information. Their statements could be important if there's any dispute over what happened. If you have your phone with you, and let's face it, who doesn't these days? Take pictures of the accident scene. Document the position of the cars, any visible damage, and the road conditions. These photos can be incredibly useful when filing an insurance claim or if there's a legal issue down the road. And speaking of legal issues, if the accident is more than just a minor scrape, or if there's significant damage or injury, it's important to call the police. They will document the scene, create an accident report, and in some cases, determine fault. Even if the other driver suggests you handle it privately without getting the police involved, it's almost always better to have an official report filed. You never know how things will turn out later, and it's better to have that legal protection. After the accident, what comes next? Once the immediate danger has passed and the situation is under control, what should you do next? First and foremost, you should seek medical attention. Even if you feel fine, some injuries might not be immediately apparent. For example, whiplash is a common injury that can show up hours or even days after an accident. The adrenaline rush you experience during the crash can mask pain, so don't assume you're unharmed. It's always best to get checked out by a medical professional, just to be sure. Next, notify your insurance company as soon as possible. The sooner you get the ball rolling on a claim, the better. Provide them with all the details, including the other driver's information, the police report if one was filed, and any photos you took of the scene. The claims process can sometimes take a while, so it's better to start it right away. When you talk to your insurance company, stick to the facts. Don't speculate or offer opinions about what caused the accident. Just tell them what happened to the best of your ability and let them handle the investigation. If the accident was serious, or if there are any disputes about who was at fault, you may want to consult a personal injury lawyer. They can help you navigate the legal process, especially if there are potential lawsuits involved. A lawyer can also make sure your rights are protected and help you get compensation for medical bills, car repairs, and other damages. Another step that's often overlooked is keeping records. Document everything related to the accident. Medical bills, repair estimates, emails with your insurance company, and any communication with the other driver or their insurer. Having a paper trail can be extremely useful if there are any disputes or delays in the claims process. Finally, take care of yourself. Being in an accident can be physically and emotionally draining. It's normal to feel shaken up, even if the crash wasn't severe. Give yourself time to recover, both physically and mentally. And if you're having trouble coping with the emotional aftermath of the accident, don't hesitate to talk to a counselor or therapist. Most importantly, try not to let the incident define your future driving experiences. Getting back on the road after an accident can be intimidating, but it's a necessary step toward moving on. Take your time, ease back into it, and don't rush the process. You'll regain your confidence behind the wheel as time goes by. Staying safe on the road. Preventative measures. While we've talked about what to do before, during, and after an accident, it's also important to discuss how you can prevent accidents in the first place. Road safety is something every driver should take seriously, and there are several key tips to help minimize the risk of being involved in a crash. One of the most important things you can do is avoid distractions while driving. This means no texting, no browsing social media, and no phone calls without hands-free technology. Even a split second of distraction can lead to disaster. Keep your focus on the road and the drivers around you. If you need to take a call or send a message, pull over safely to do so. In addition to distractions, speeding is another major cause of accidents. Speed limits are in place for a reason, and exceeding them increases both the likelihood and severity of a crash. Speed limits are calculated based on road conditions, traffic, and other factors, so respecting them keeps you and others safe. Remember, the faster you're going, the less time you have to react to unexpected situations. Another key key factor in road safety is obeying traffic signals and signs. This may seem obvious, but running red lights or ignoring stop signs can have deadly consequences. Intersections are one of the most common places for accidents to occur, so always be extra cautious when approaching one. Even if you have the right of way, be aware of what other drivers are doing. Don't assume they'll follow the rules. Weather conditions can also play a significant role in road safety. Rain, snow, fog, and ice all make driving more dangerous, so it's important to adjust your driving accordingly. Slow down, increase your following distance, and turn on your headlights to increase visibility. If the weather is particularly bad, consider delaying your trip until conditions improve. Your safety is always more important than arriving on time. Another thing to keep in mind is defensive driving. This means being aware of your surroundings and anticipating potential hazards. Don't just focus on the car in front of you. Look further down the road to spot any issues before they become a problem. Keep a safe distance from other vehicles and be prepared for unexpected actions from other drivers, such as sudden stops or lane changes. Lastly, make sure your suspension and steering systems are in good shape. If you notice that your car is pulling to one side, or if the ride feels unusually bumpy or unstable, have a mechanic take a look. Problems with the suspension or steering can make your vehicle harder to control, increasing the risk of an accident. By staying on top of regular maintenance, you can reduce the chances of being caught off guard by a breakdown or a mechanical issue. A well-maintained vehicle is a safer vehicle, and it's a key part of being a responsible driver. Handling legal matters after an accident. Once the dust has settled after an accident, the legal side of things begins to take center stage. Handling these matters promptly and correctly is crucial in ensuring that you are protected and that any compensation or coverage you may be entitled to is secured. The first step is to contact your insurance company as soon as possible. Most insurance providers have a set period during which you must report an accident, so don't delay. Provide them with all the details of the accident, including any pictures or documentation you've gathered. This will help speed up the process and ensure that your claim is handled efficiently. When dealing with insurance companies, it's important to be truthful and provide accurate information. Any discrepancies or misleading statements could complicate your claim or lead to it being denied. Stick to the facts and let the insurance adjusters handle the investigation. In cases where the accident was severe or caused significant damage, you may also need to consult a personal injury lawyer. A lawyer can help navigate the complexities of legal proceedings, especially if there is a dispute about who was at fault or if the other party involved is being uncooperative. A good lawyer will assist you in gathering evidence, dealing with insurance companies, and representing you in court if necessary. They can also help you understand your rights and what compensation you may be entitled to, whether for medical bills, lost wages, or pain and suffering. If the accident involves significant injuries or legal disputes, it's important to document everything. Keep copies of all medical records, repair bills, and any other paperwork related to the accident. This documentation will be essential if you end up going to court or negotiating a settlement. In the unfortunate event that someone involved in the accident decides to file a lawsuit, having all your documentation in order will make it much easier to defend yourself. Legal matters can be daunting, but with the right support and preparation, you can protect your rights and ensure that you are fairly treated. Emotional recovery after an accident. Being involved in a car accident can take a toll on your mental health, even if the injuries or damage were minor. It's important to acknowledge the emotional impact that an accident can have and take steps to recover mentally as well as physically. It's normal to feel shaken or anxious after an accident. You may experience fear, anger, or even guilt, especially if you believe the accident could have been avoided. These emotions are completely valid, and it's important to give yourself time to process them. In the days and weeks following the accident, you might find yourself feeling nervous about getting back behind the wheel. This is a common reaction, but it's important to take small steps to rebuild your confidence. Start by driving short distances in familiar areas, gradually working your way up to longer trips. If you're finding it particularly hard to move past the accident, or if you're experiencing symptoms of post-traumatic stress, it may be helpful to speak with a professional therapist. Therapy can provide valuable tools for coping with anxiety and help you work through any lingering fears. Support from friends and family can also be a big help in your emotional recovery. Talk to your loved ones about how you're feeling, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Whether it's a ride to an appointment or simply someone to talk to, leaning on others can make the recovery process a little easier. Practicing mindfulness or other relaxation techniques can also help reduce feelings of stress or anxiety. Activities like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or yoga can help calm your mind and body, allowing you to process your emotions in a healthy way. Most importantly, be patient with yourself. Recovery, both physical and emotional, takes time. There's no set timeline for when you should feel normal again after an accident, so don't put pressure on yourself to bounce back right away. Take things one day at a time, and remember that it's okay to seek help if you need it. Understanding your rights as a passenger in an accident. It's important to note that as a passenger in a car, you also have certain rights if you're involved in an accident. Many people are unsure of what steps to take as a passenger, but knowing your rights can help you navigate the situation and ensure you get the help you need. First, if you're injured in the accident, you may be entitled to medical compensation. This compensation can come from the driver's insurance, depending on who was at fault for the accident. Just like drivers, passengers should always seek medical attention after an accident, even if they don't feel immediate pain or injury. Passengers should also gather as much information as possible after an accident. This includes the names and contact details of all drivers involved, insurance information, and any witnesses to the accident. Passengers are typically not considered responsible for accidents, so having this information can help if you need to make an insurance claim or if legal action is taken. One thing to remember as a passenger is that you can file a claim against both the driver of your vehicle and the other party involved, if they share fault. This means that you're not limited to just one claim. Your injuries may entitle you to compensation from multiple sources, including personal injury protection, coverage, or the at-fault driver's liability insurance. If you're hesitant about dealing with the legalities on your own, consider consulting a personal injury lawyer who can help guide you through the process. They can ensure that you receive the appropriate compensation for your injuries, including medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Passengers are often overlooked in the aftermath of a car accident, but they have just as much right to compensation and care as drivers. Understanding your rights and taking the necessary steps can ensure that you're not left facing the consequences of an accident without support. What to do if you witness a car accident? Being a witness to a car accident can be just as stressful as being involved in one. However, there are steps you can take to help ensure that those involved get the assistance they need. Witnesses can play a vital role in providing crucial information and helping accident victims. If you witness an accident, the first thing to do is ensure your own safety. Pull over to a safe location before getting out of your vehicle and never stop in a way that could cause another accident. Once you're safely out of harm's way, check to see if those involved in the accident need assistance. Call emergency services if necessary. If you see that someone is injured, or if the accident is serious, dial emergency services immediately and provide them with as much information as possible, such as the location of the accident and the number of vehicles involved. After making sure that help is on the way, if it's safe, approach the accident scene and offer assistance. Keep in mind that you should not attempt to move anyone who is injured unless there is an immediate danger, such as a fire. Offering comfort and support while waiting for professional help can go a long way in keeping accident victims calm. As a witness, your role doesn't end once emergency responders arrive. You may be asked to provide a statement about what you saw, which can be invaluable in determining the cause of the accident. Be as clear and factual as possible when describing the events you witnessed. Avoid making assumptions or offering opinions about who was at fault. If asked, share your contact information with the police or those involved in the accident. Your account may be needed later on, especially if legal action is taken. Witness statements can be essential for accident reports, insurance claims, and legal proceedings, so your cooperation is important. By acting calmly and responsibly, you can help those involved in an accident receive the care they need and ensure that the proper authorities have the information necessary to handle the situation. The role of technology in road safety. In today's world, technology is playing an increasingly important role in road safety. From advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS, to apps that help prevent distracted driving, there are numerous tools available that can make our roads safer. One of the most prominent technologies in modern vehicles is ADAS, which includes features like lane departure warnings, adaptive cruise control, and automatic emergency braking. These systems are designed to assist drivers in avoiding accidents by alerting them to potential hazards, and in some cases, even taking control of the vehicle to prevent a collision. For example, automatic emergency braking can detect when a car is getting too close to another vehicle or object and apply the brakes if the driver doesn't react in time. This feature alone has been shown to significantly reduce rear-end collisions and mitigate the severity of crashes. Another technological advancement is lane keeping assistance, which helps prevent drivers from unintentionally drifting out of their lanes. This is especially useful for long-distance drivers who may become fatigued or distracted. The system provides an alert or gently steers the vehicle back into its lane if it detects that the car is moving out of its designated path. In addition to in-car technologies, smartphone apps have emerged as valuable tools for road safety. Apps like Drive Mode or Lifesaver are designed to block incoming notifications while driving, reducing the temptation to check your phone and get distracted. These apps can be particularly helpful for new or young drivers who may be more prone to distractions. Other apps can provide real-time traffic updates, road hazard warnings, and even vehicle diagnostics. Knowing what's happening on the road ahead can give drivers more time to react to potential dangers and adjust their driving accordingly. Vehicle manufacturers are also incorporating telematics systems, which monitor driving behavior and provide feedback on how to improve. These systems can track data such as speed, acceleration, and braking patterns, offering drivers insights into their habits and helping them become safer on the road. For fleet operators or companies with large numbers of vehicles, telematic systems can help monitor the driving behavior of employees and ensure that safety protocols are being followed. This technology has become an essential part of improving road safety for commercial drivers. Looking to the future, autonomous driving is one of the most anticipated developments in road safety. While fully self-driving cars are still in the testing phase, the potential for these vehicles to reduce human error, the leading cause of car accidents, is enormous. Autonomous cars could eliminate issues like distracted driving, speeding, and drunk driving, making roads safer for everyone. However, with these technological advancements also comes the need for responsibility. Drivers should not become overly reliant on systems like ADAS or autopilot features. Technology is a valuable aid, but it's not foolproof, and the driver should always remain alert and in control. Understanding different types of car accidents and how to avoid them. Car accidents come in many forms, and understanding the most common types can help you take steps to avoid them. Each type of accident presents unique challenges and risks, but with proper awareness, many can be prevented. One of the most common types of accidents is the rear-end collision. This occurs when one vehicle hits the back of another, often because the driver in the rear was following too closely or didn't react in time to sudden stops. To avoid rear-end collisions, maintain a safe following distance, especially in heavy traffic or poor weather conditions. The rule of thumb is to keep at least a 3-second gap between you and the car in front. Another frequent type of accident is the side impact collision, sometimes referred to as a T-bone collision. This occurs when one vehicle crashes into the side of another, often at intersections. These accidents are particularly dangerous because the sides of a car offer less protection than the front or rear. To reduce the risk of side impact collisions, always obey traffic signals, And be cautious when entering intersections, even if you have the right of way. Head-on collisions are less common, but often result in severe injuries or fatalities. These occur when two vehicles traveling in opposite directions crash into each other, usually because one driver crosses into the wrong lane. Avoiding head-on collisions involves staying in your lane, paying attention to road markings, and being cautious on two-lane roads where passing is allowed. Single-vehicle accidents are another common type, often involving a car running off the road or hitting an object like a tree or guardrail. These accidents can be caused by speeding, distracted driving, or poor weather conditions. To avoid single-vehicle accidents, always drive at a safe speed, especially on curves or in bad weather, and avoid distractions that take your attention away from the road. Finally, multi-vehicle pileups can occur in heavy traffic or on highways, particularly in foggy or icy conditions. These accidents involve several cars and can be very dangerous because it's hard to predict how other drivers will react. Multi-vehicle pileups are often triggered by a chain reaction. One car brakes suddenly, and the vehicles behind do not have enough time to stop. To avoid being part of a pileup, maintain a safe following distance and be especially cautious in bad weather. If you notice a collision ahead, reduce your speed gradually and keep your distance from the cars around you. If you're unable to avoid a multi-vehicle accident, stay inside your car with your seatbelt fastened until it is safe to exit, as exiting prematurely can put you at risk of being hit by other vehicles. Understanding car insurance. After an accident. When involved in an accident, one of the first things you'll likely think about is how your insurance will come into play. Understanding how car insurance works in the aftermath of an accident can help ease some of the stress during this difficult time. After ensuring everyone's safety at the accident scene, your next step should be to contact your insurance company. Most insurance policies require you to report an accident within a certain period of time. The earlier you report it, the sooner they can begin processing your claim and provide any necessary assistance, such as roadside help or towing services. Your insurance company will likely ask you to provide detailed information about the accident, including how it occurred, the condition of the vehicles involved, and whether there were any injuries. It's important to be as accurate and factual as possible when describing the event, avoiding assumptions or admitting fault before a thorough investigation has been conducted. After your claim is submitted, an insurance adjuster will be assigned to evaluate the damage to your vehicle and assess any injuries. The adjuster will determine the extent of the repairs needed and whether the vehicle is considered a total loss. If your vehicle is a total loss, the insurance company may offer you the fair market value of the car at the time of the accident. If you are not at fault for the accident, your insurance company may seek reimbursement from the at-fault driver's insurance. This process is called subrogation and involves your insurance company recovering the costs they paid for your claim, such as vehicle repairs or medical expenses. Understanding the type of insurance coverage you have before an accident occurs can also help you better navigate the aftermath.
Yeah, I'm good.
There are several common types of car insurance coverage. Liability insurance covers damages you cause to others if you're at fault in an accident. This includes property damage and medical expenses for the other driver and passengers. Collision coverage helps pay for damage to your vehicle if you're involved in an accident, regardless of fault. This type of coverage is typically optional, but can be very helpful if you want to ensure your vehicle will be repaired or replaced after an accident. Comprehensive coverage covers damages to your vehicle that aren't the result of a collision, such as damage from theft, vandalism, or natural disasters. Personal injury protection, PIP, or medical payments coverage helps cover medical expenses for you and your passengers, regardless of who is at fault for the accident. Keep in mind that deductibles apply to many types of coverage, meaning you'll be responsible for paying a certain amount out of pocket before your insurance kicks in. It's important to know the details of your deductible when choosing your coverage. If the other driver is at fault, but is uninsured or underinsured, underinsured motorist coverage can come to your aid. This type of coverage is designed to protect you if the at-fault driver lacks sufficient insurance to cover your damages or medical bills. One key aspect to consider is how an accident may affect your insurance premiums. If you are found at fault, your insurance rates could increase, depending on the severity of the accident and the specific policies of your insurance provider. However, some insurance companies offer accident forgiveness programs, which prevent your rates from going up after your first accident. How to handle legal proceedings after an accident. In some cases, the aftermath of a car accident may involve legal action, especially if the accident was severe or resulted in significant property damage or injuries. Understanding how to handle legal proceedings can protect your rights and ensure you receive the appropriate compensation. If you're injured in a car accident, the first thing you should do is seek medical attention. Even if you feel fine immediately after the accident, it's essential to get checked by a healthcare professional. Some injuries, such as whiplash or concussions, may not present symptoms right away, but can worsen over time. Medical records will also serve as crucial evidence if you decide to pursue a personal injury claim. Once your immediate medical needs have been addressed, consider reaching out to a personal injury lawyer if the accident was serious or if there's a dispute over who was at fault. Personal injury lawyers specialize in handling car accident claims and can guide you through the legal process.
Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the world of high-performance supercars, where the price tags are high, but so are the risks. Sit tight as we take you through some of the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, and downright unbelievable supercar fails ever caught on camera. Buckle up because this ride is going to be wild. The show-off disaster. First up, we have a scene that's all too familiar in the supercar world. A stunning, sleek machine rolling up to a crowd, the driver revving the engine, eager to show off. And then, in just seconds, the unthinkable happens. The car spins out of control, tires screeching, and bam, into a nearby curb, or worse, another car. It's the kind of moment where you can't help but cringe, wondering how something so powerful can become so unpredictable. Misjudged corners. Next, let's talk about sharp corners. We've all seen it. Supercars tearing down winding roads, engines roaring. But what happens when a driver misjudges a turn? In a split second, that beastly machine is fishtailing, veering off course, and sometimes even flipping. It's a reminder that even the most advanced engineering can't save you from a poor decision behind the wheel. Parking lot blunders. Believe it or not, even million-dollar machines fall victim to the simplest mistakes, like parking lot mishaps. You'd think backing into a spot would be easy, but not when the driver's overly confident or distracted. A tiny misstep, and we're watching as this beautiful car crunches against a wall, or worse, another vehicle. The damage might seem small, but the repair bill? Definitely not. Street racing gone wrong. Now, we've all seen those supercars burning rubber in street races, but what happens when they push their limits a little too far? A drag race starts out fast and furious, but soon enough, one car loses control, spinning out, skidding across lanes, or even slamming into barriers. It's a brutal reminder that these aren't just toys for showing off. They demand respect and skill. Off-road fiascos. As much as we love seeing supercars on the track, sometimes drivers get a bit ambitious. Taking a low-slung supercar off-road is just asking for trouble. Imagine a sleek, shiny machine barreling down a dirt path, bouncing over rocks and potholes. It's not long before we see it stuck in the mud, tires spinning, or worse, bottoming out with a painful thud. A costly mistake for sure. Weather woes. Even the best drivers can be caught off guard by Mother Nature. Imagine this: a supercar speeding along on a sunny day, when suddenly the skies open up and rain pours down. The roads become slick, and that's when we see it, hydroplaning. In the blink of an eye, the car skids out of control, crashing into a guardrail or spinning across the highway. It's a stark reminder that no amount of horsepower can save you from wet roads. Overconfidence crash. One of the most common causes of supercar fails? Overconfidence. You'll see it time and time again. A driver takes their machine to the limit, pushing too hard, too fast. Whether it's trying to pull off a drift, weaving through traffic, or attempting an impossible maneuver, the result is usually the same: a devastating crash that leaves the car in pieces and the driver in disbelief. Track day terrors. Even on the racetrack, where supercars are meant to thrive, things can go horribly wrong. You might think that on a closed course, these cars would be in their element, but one wrong move, an overzealous acceleration, or a miscalculated brake, and we're watching a supercar spin out, slam into barriers, or flip over in a cloud of smoke. It's a shocking reminder that no matter how much you spend, mistakes can be costly. Burnout backfires. Who doesn't love a good burnout? The smell of burning rubber, the roar of the engine, it's a supercar fan's dream. But when that power is mishandled, it can quickly turn into a nightmare. A driver attempts a burnout, but instead of gracefully spinning in place, the car lurches forward, slamming into a crowd or a nearby obstacle. What was supposed to be a display of control becomes a chaotic disaster, reminding us that even a simple burnout can go horribly wrong if not executed perfectly. The thrill of launching a supercar from a standstill. It's a test of speed, power, and adrenaline. But in some cases, it's a test of balance too. A driver floors the accelerator, but instead of a smooth launch, the tires spin uncontrollably. The back end swerves, and suddenly the car is veering wildly off the road. With so much torque and power under the hood, a failed launch can result in a dangerous and costly mistake. Exhaust flames gone wrong. Supercars with their high-octane engines are known for spitting flames from the exhaust. A jaw-dropping spectacle, right? But sometimes, those flames can go a little too far. In one case, a driver revs the engine to get those flames shooting, but they get more than they bargained for when the flames spread. A few seconds of showboating turns into a full-blown fire hazard. It's a reminder that playing with fire, literally, can lead to some unexpected and expensive consequences. So there you have it, folks. Some of the most epic and expensive supercar fails that prove just how unforgiving these machines can be. Whether it's a small parking lot fender bender or a high-speed crash on the track, owning a supercar is as much about skill as it is about style. Remember, driving one of these beasts might look cool, but as we've seen today, things can go south fast if you're not careful. Thanks for watching, and if you want more thrilling car content, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Until next time, drive safe.
Accidents can happen in the blink of an eye. One moment, everything seems fine, and the next, chaos erupts. Whether it's on the road, at home, or in the workplace, accidents are unpredictable, and the impact can be devastating. But what causes accidents, and more importantly, how can we prevent them? Let's begin by understanding that most accidents are preventable. Human error, distraction, and negligence are often the leading causes. For instance, on the road, distracted driving, speeding, and failure to follow traffic rules are common culprits. A few seconds of distraction, like checking your phone or changing a song, can result in serious consequences. The roads are not just for vehicles. Pedestrians, cyclists, and other drivers are equally at risk. It's crucial to stay focused, maintain a safe speed, and always be aware of your surroundings. One of the most important aspects of accident prevention is understanding the dangers of multitasking behind the wheel. Driving is an activity that demands our full attention. Unfortunately, too many people believe they can manage multiple tasks while driving, texting, eating, or even adjusting the radio. But in reality, every time we divert our attention from the road, even for a split second, we're increasing the likelihood of an accident. A car moving at 60 miles per hour covers 88 feet per second. That means just a momentary glance at your phone can be the difference between life and death. Then there's speeding, another major factor. Many drivers underestimate the dangers of speeding, thinking that it's harmless, especially if they're running late. But speed limits are there for a reason. They're not just arbitrary numbers. They're designed to keep everyone on the road safe. When we speed, we reduce the amount of time we have to react to unexpected events. A child running into the street, a car suddenly stopping ahead. These are situations where every second counts. Slowing down gives us those critical extra seconds to respond appropriately and avoid a crash. Seatbelts are another simple yet incredibly effective tool in accident prevention. Studies have shown that wearing a seatbelt can reduce the risk of death in a car crash by up to 50%. It's such a small action, but it can make a world of difference. Yet, too many people still don't wear them, whether it's because they find them uncomfortable or they believe they're unnecessary for short trips. But here's the thing. Most accidents happen close to home, often on routes we travel daily. So, no matter how short the journey, buckle up every time. Let's not forget about motorcycle and bicycle safety. Wearing a helmet may not prevent an accident, but it can significantly reduce the severity of injuries. A helmet acts as a protective barrier for the most vulnerable part of your body, your head. It's astonishing how many riders take to the streets without this basic form of protection, believing that it's unnecessary or uncool. But the reality is, a helmet can be the difference between a minor injury and a life-threatening one. Now, let's shift focus for a moment and talk about accidents at home. You might not think of your house as a dangerous place, but many accidents occur within our homes. Slips and falls are among the most common household accidents, especially in areas like bathrooms and kitchens, where floors can be wet and slippery. It's important to keep walkways clear of clutter, use non-slip mats, and ensure proper lighting to prevent falls. Simple measures like installing grab bars in the shower or using a step stool with a handle can help reduce the risk of injury. Electrical accidents are another hidden danger in the home. Faulty wiring, overloaded outlets, and mishandling of electrical appliances can lead to fires or serious shocks. Regularly checking your electrical system and appliances for wear and tear, and never overloading outlets can prevent these accidents. If you're unsure about the safety of your electrical system, consider hiring a professional to inspect it. When we look at the workplace, accidents are often the result of carelessness or failure to follow safety protocols. Whether it's in an office, a construction site, or a factory, there are always hazards that we need to be aware of. For those working in high-risk environments, wearing personal protective equipment, like helmets, gloves, and goggles, is essential. Following safety protocols might seem time-consuming, but they're designed to keep you safe. Cutting corners can have dire consequences. Another aspect of workplace safety is ergonomics. Many people spend hours at a desk, staring at a computer screen. Over time, this can lead to musculoskeletal problems, eye strain, and even chronic pain. Taking regular breaks, maintaining good posture, and ensuring your workspace is ergonomically friendly can help prevent these issues. While these may not seem like accidents in the traditional sense, they're still preventable injuries that can have a long-term impact on your health. Beyond individual responsibility, there's a larger societal aspect to accident prevention. Communities can work together to create safer environments. This can include advocating for better road infrastructure, like adding pedestrian crossings, improving lighting, and creating bike lanes. It also means supporting laws that promote safety, like seatbelt mandates, helmet laws, and regulations around distracted driving. Governments and organizations have a responsibility to ensure that public spaces, roads, and workplaces are designed with safety in mind. In conclusion, accidents are a part of life, but many of them are preventable. Whether it's staying focused on the road, taking precautions at home, or following safety protocols at work, there are simple actions we can take to protect ourselves and others. Safety isn't just about avoiding danger in the moment. It's about being mindful of the risks around us and taking steps to mitigate them. By being proactive and responsible, likelihood of accidents and create a safer world for everyone. As we reach the end of this discussion on accidents and safety, it's essential to reflect on the common theme that ties everything together: prevention. Accidents, by their very nature, are unexpected, but that doesn't mean they are unavoidable. In fact, most accidents happen due to factors within our control, whether it's a momentary distraction, a failure to follow safety guidelines, or simply underestimating the risks around us. Think about the roads we drive on every day. How often do we see someone speeding, texting while driving, or ignoring basic traffic rules? It might seem harmless in the moment, but these actions have the potential to change lives in an instant. Every year, thousands of lives are lost due to accidents that could have been prevented if drivers had simply paid more attention or followed the rules of the road. And it's not just drivers who are at risk. Pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists are also vulnerable to accidents caused by carelessness. Driving demands our full attention. Multitasking behind the wheel, Whether it's eating, adjusting the radio, or checking your phone, drastically increases the risk of an accident. We need to shift our mindset and recognize that nothing is more important than keeping our eyes on the road. The consequences of even a few seconds of distraction can be catastrophic. Speeding is another dangerous habit that many people overlook. Speed limits are put in place to ensure that drivers have enough time to react to unexpected situations. Whether it's a child running into the street or a car stopping abruptly, those extra few seconds gained by driving within the speed limit can mean the difference between a near miss and a deadly collision. By simply slowing down and respecting speed limits, we can significantly reduce the risk of accidents. It's also important to mention the life-saving power of seatbelts. Something as simple as buckling up can cut the risk of fatal injury in a car crash by nearly half. Yet many people still don't wear them, often because they think they're unnecessary for short trips. But most accidents happen close to home, on routes we drive every day. Buckling your seatbelt every time you get in the car should be second nature. It's a small habit that can make a huge difference. Safety isn't just about what we do on the roads. In our homes, accidents can happen when we least expect them. Slips and falls are the most common household accidents, especially in areas like bathrooms and kitchens. Simple steps like keeping walkways clear of clutter, using non-slip mats, and ensuring adequate lighting can go a long way in preventing falls. It's about being aware of your environment and making small changes that reduce risks. Electrical safety is another crucial factor in preventing household accidents. Faulty wiring, overloading power outlets, or mishandling electrical appliances can lead to serious injuries or fires. Regularly inspecting electrical systems, using appliances correctly, and never overloading outlets are simple precautions that can prevent accidents. It's always better to invest time in safety measures than to face the consequences of neglect. In the workplace, the same principle of awareness and prevention applies. No matter what environment you work in, whether it's an office, a construction site, or a factory, there are always risks. Following safety guidelines, using protective equipment, and maintaining a clutter-free workspace can significantly reduce the chances of an accident. While safety protocols might sometimes feel like a hassle, they're there for a reason, to keep us safe. As a society, we all play a role in creating a safer environment. Governments and organizations must ensure that roads, public spaces, and workplaces are designed with safety in mind. At the same time, individuals need to take responsibility for their actions and prioritize safety in their daily lives. In conclusion, accidents may be unexpected, but they don't have to be inevitable. Whether you're driving, at home, or at work, taking the time to think about safety can prevent a tragedy. Stay focused, follow the rules, and always be aware of your surroundings. The choices you make today can save lives tomorrow. So let's make safety a habit, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us. Because at the end of the day, nothing is more important than protecting life. Accidents happen in an instant, often without warning, and can leave a lasting impact on our lives. Whether it's a road accident, a workplace injury, or a mishap at home, accidents remind us of how fragile and unpredictable life can be. But the good news is that many accidents are preventable, and with awareness and action, we can significantly reduce the risks. Let's start by looking at road accidents. Every year, millions of people around the world are injured or lose their lives in road crashes. The main reasons? Distracted driving, speeding, not wearing seat belts, and ignoring basic traffic rules. It's easy to get comfortable behind the wheel, but every time we drive, we need to remember that we are responsible for our safety and the safety of others. One of the biggest dangers on the road is distracted driving. We live in a time where smartphones are always within reach, and it's tempting to glance at a text or change a song while driving. But even a moment of distraction can lead to disaster. When you're driving at high speeds, every second matters. Keeping your attention on the road, hands on the wheel, and phone away could be the difference between a safe trip and a fatal crash. Speeding is another significant factor in road accidents. When we speed, we reduce the time we have to react to unexpected situations, like a car suddenly stopping in front of us or a pedestrian stepping into the street. The faster you go, the harder it is to stop in time. And even if you think you're in control, Speed limits exist for a reason. They are calculated based on the safest speeds for the road conditions. By staying within the limits, we protect ourselves and others. Let's also talk about seatbelts. It's surprising that in 2024, some people still don't wear them regularly. Seatbelts save lives by keeping you secure in your seat during an accident. They prevent you from being thrown from the vehicle and help spread the force of impact across your body. Always buckle up, no matter how short the trip or how familiar the route. It's such a simple action, yet it can make all the difference. Now let's move away from the roads and talk about safety in our homes. Many of us don't think of our homes as places where accidents can happen. But slips, falls, burns, and electrical accidents are far more common than we realize. A wet floor, cluttered walkways, or an unguarded stove can lead to serious injury. Something as small as putting a non-slip mat in the bathroom, clearing clutter from hallways, or installing smoke detectors can dramatically increase safety at home. Falls are one of the most common accidents in homes, especially for children and the elderly. Taking preventive steps like using railings on stairs, adding lighting in dark areas, and ensuring floors are dry and clean can prevent these accidents. Likewise, electrical accidents can be dangerous and even fatal if not handled properly. Regularly check for faulty wiring, don't overload power sockets, and unplug devices when they're not in use. In the workplace, accidents often happen when we rush or cut corners, thinking we're saving time. But ignoring safety rules can lead to serious injuries from falls to exposure to hazardous materials. Whether you work in an office or a factory, always follow safety protocols. Wear protective gear when needed, report any hazards immediately, and never underestimate the importance of taking regular breaks to avoid fatigue. Even something as simple as maintaining good posture at a desk can prevent long-term health issues. Accidents may be a part of life, but their frequency can be reduced with a proactive approach to safety. By staying aware of our surroundings, following basic safety rules, and always thinking one step ahead, we can prevent many of the incidents that disrupt lives and cause harm. As we conclude, it's important to reinforce that safety is not just about avoiding accidents in the moment. It's about adopting a mindset that prioritizes caution and preparedness in every aspect of life. Whether you're on the road, at home, or in the workplace, safety starts with awareness and ends with action. Think about the times when you've seen someone texting while driving or speeding through a red light. Maybe you've done it yourself. It's easy to feel like we're invincible or that accidents only happen to other people. But the reality is, accidents don't discriminate. They can happen to anyone, at any time, in the most unexpected ways. That's why it's essential to stay focused and mindful, especially in situations where safety is at stake. Let's revisit road safety for a moment. Every day, people take risks on the road, whether it's running late to work or trying to get through traffic faster. But those risks often have consequences far greater than we anticipate. Speeding might save you a few minutes, but it can cost lives. Texting while driving might seem like a harmless multitask, but it can result in irreversible damage. We have to shift our mentality from convenience to responsibility. Driving is not just a task, it's a serious responsibility where lives are quite literally at stake. Every decision we make on the road has the potential to affect more than just ourselves. As we conclude, it's important to reinforce that safety is not just about avoiding accidents in the moment. It's about adopting a mindset that prioritizes caution and preparedness in every aspect of life. Whether you're on the road, at home, or in the workplace, safety starts with awareness and ends with action. Think about the times when you've seen someone texting while driving or speeding through a red light. Maybe you've done it yourself. It's easy to feel like we're invincible or that accidents only happen to other people. But the reality is, accidents don't discriminate. They can happen to anyone, at any time, in the most unexpected ways. That's why it's essential to stay focused and mindful, especially in situations where safety is at stake. Let's revisit road safety for a moment. Every day, people take risks on the road, whether it's running late to work or trying to get through traffic faster. But those risks often have consequences far greater than we anticipate. Speeding might save you a few minutes, but it can cost lives. Texting while driving might seem like a harmless multitask, but it can result in irreversible damage. We have to shift our mentality from convenience to responsibility. Driving is not just a task, it's a serious responsibility where lives are quite literally at stake. Every decision we make on the road has the potential to affect more than just ourselves. But safety doesn't end when we park the car. It extends into our homes, workplaces, and even recreational activities. At home, seemingly minor hazards can cause serious harm if we're not careful. How often do we leave cords lying on the floor or rush to cook dinner without paying full attention to the stove? These moments of carelessness can result in fires, falls, or electrical shocks, all of which are avoidable with just a little more awareness and caution. Workplace safety is equally important. Many of us spend a large portion of our day at work, where the risks can range from ergonomic injuries in an office setting to life-threatening accidents in industrial environments. Following safety protocols, using protective gear, and reporting hazards immediately are small actions that can make a huge difference. It's easy to get complacent, especially when the risks don't seem immediate, but maintaining a culture of safety can protect not only yourself, but your coworkers as well. Beyond our individual actions, there's a larger societal responsibility for safety. Governments, companies, and communities all play a role in creating safer environments. Proper road design, public safety campaigns, and workplace safety regulations are just a few examples of how society can contribute to reducing accidents. But these measures are only effective if we as individuals commit to following them. After all, laws and regulations are just words on paper without our willingness to follow them. In the end, safety is about caring for yourself, for others, and for the world around you. It's about recognizing that accidents, while sometimes inevitable, can often be prevented with simple precautions and mindful behavior. By taking responsibility for our actions, staying aware of our surroundings, and adopting a proactive approach to safety, we can minimize the risks that life throws our way. So, as you move forward from this video, remember, safety isn't a one-time consideration. It's an everyday commitment. Make safety a habit, not just for your own well-being, but for the people you care about and the community you live in. Stay safe, stay alert, and always choose caution over convenience, because nothing is more valuable than life itself.